Shabbat Shalom, dear community. Today we're continuing the tradition that was established last week by Rabbi Grover, and I want to begin my sermon with just some words of appreciation for Barbara and Alan, who are celebrating today their 12th anniversary of being married. And of course, 12 as a number in Judaism, it holds great significance. Like there are 12 tribes of Israel, there are 12 months in our year, and now there are 12 beautiful years of marital bond. Mazel tov. You mark 12 remarkable years of being together, supporting one another, and facing life's ups and downs hand in hand. Just as each tribe of 12 tribes had its distinct strengths and each month holds its own beauty, every year of your journey is filled with unique memories, challenges, and joys. When I just came to Canada, you, meaning Alan and Barbara, you opened the doors of your home for me. If you don't know that when I just arrived, I stayed at Barbara's and Alan's home, and I had just a little glimpse of your daily life and your harmonious relationships and the love that you share. And I'm grateful for that experience. As you both continue on this journey, may God bless you always and always be with you, and wishing you endless happiness and shared laughter and love that keeps growing stronger and stronger with each passing days. Mazel tov on your 12th anniversary. And I was thinking about like a very smart segue into our Parashat Teitzei. I didn't really come up with one. But this Parsha, it's a great Parsha because it has more laws than any other portion of the Torah. And some of those laws are also about about the relationship between husband and wife, between man and woman, and they regulate really all kinds of different aspects of Jewish lives. And some of them are very practical, like the law that you need to build a parapet, a little fence in your roof so that nobody falls from the roof. Very practical. Others are ethical. For example, there is a law that you should not abuse a needy and destitute. And some are quite mysterious, like one law of not mixing wool and linen in the garments, and who knows why is that? That's one of the laws that don't really have any clear explanation. But there is one law that I want to focus on today. That instructs us, you shall make tassels on the four corners of the garment with which you cover yourself. And this is in Dvarim chapter 22, verse 12. And that's it. That's a very short law. Doesn't give us any explanation, doesn't elaborate on what these tassels are and why we need to put them on the corners of our garment. We already encountered this instruction actually in the book of Numbers in chapter 15. We read, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of God and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge. Thus you shall be reminded to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God." And though there are more details and reasoning for this commandment in the book of Numbers, like it says that it reminds us about mitzvot and faith in God, there are still a lot of questions. So why tassels? And what are they? Why not something else? And what kind of garments should I tie it on? It says a garment with four corners. What if I don't have four corners on my clothing? Usually these days we don't really have them. They kind of don't have corners that much. And should I wear it all the time or only on special occasions? All these questions were answered by the rabbis later, but they're not kind of explained in the Torah. A person is obligated to tzitzit on garments that have at least four corners and have a size minimum roughly like 60 by 60 centimeters, but There are many opinions and complex discussions on that. And if you don't wear four-cornered garments regularly, the way to fulfill this commandment is to wear what we call talit gadol, that meaning this thing, this one. And called talit gadol because it's a big one. And that's right, talit is not just a special piece of clothing that we put on during prayers, and it's not, I'll tell you, it's not a rabbi's uniform. We put on talit specifically to fulfill a commandment of tying tzitzit, these tassels or fringes, and saying a special blessing for that. And we are commanded to put these fringes on the corners of our garments, and it's so important that we recite it twice a day, in the morning and in the evening during Shema. And this was the quote that I read for you from the book of Numbers. This is the text that we recite during Shema. And you know that there are at least 613 commandments of the Torah, and this is one of the most important commandments because we address it twice a day. And there are a multitude of opinions on who exactly is obligated to wear tzitzit, and starting with what age. In some traditions, tzitzit is worn all day as a talit katan. Do you have it on you? Okay, so the small one, you know, the one that we wear, and then they're like hanging here. And in some Ashkenazi shuls, talit gadol is worn only by married men. So there are all kinds of opinions based on local customs and the opinions of authoritative rabbis. And you know that for centuries women were exempt from this mitzvah, and talit kind of became a male-only outfit. However, the Torah doesn't specify gender in this commandment. It simply says, you shall make tassels or fringes. The opinion that women should not wear talit is not based on the idea that it's just for man, but rather on a very specific concept that is called mitzvot aseh she'azman grama, which means positive commandments that are time-bound. Positive means prescribing an act. You should do something, in contrast to negative, that is like forbidding something you shouldn't do. So that's a positive commandment. Put on your, put on tzitzit. And time-bound means that it has like a certain specific schedule or time when you should do it. And it is believed that one should put on talit only during the day and not during the night, so it makes it a time-bound commandment. So women are exempt according to the straightforward halacha. But nothing in the Jewish law is that easy. And from purely halachic standpoint, while women are not obligated or exempt, there is no prohibition against women wearing a talit. Not obligated doesn't mean forbidden. And that applies to all laws that women used to be exempt from. So exempt meaning you don't have to do it, like you're freed from this commandment, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it or you cannot do it. It's just kind of make your life a little bit easier, but it's not a prohibition. And one of the examples that I can compare it to, I believe that many women in this shul enjoy being counted in minyan. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, great. But there are consequences to that. You know, the only people who are obligated in the recitation of Amidah 3 times a day can be counted in minyan. That's why we don't count children, because children are not obligated. And that is why we count women, because women are obligated. And when we read in the Shema twice a day that you should put tzitzit on the corners of your garment, well, the commandment is clear. You should do it. And now I want to speak to the women of our community who might be hesitant to start wearing talit. I see you, and I've been there, and I know how it feels. I understand the hesitation. Changing century-old practices can feel daunting and uncomfortable, and it might seem easier to stay in the comforting embrace of the familiar. But every meaningful journey begins with a single, sometimes uncertain step. I know it's not an easy transition, and I'm definitely not judging anyone for not wearing it. As I said, I've been there. And some of you know, some of you don't know that my first community was a Chabad community, very Orthodox, and of course women were not allowed to wear talit and tefillin there. So I also didn't do it. And it took a long time for me to examine my beliefs and to come to the conclusion that I want to share with you now. It felt awkward to wear talit for the first few times. I was really afraid of judgment coming both from men and from women who thought it was inappropriate. But it didn't stop me, and the more I practiced wearing talit, the better it felt. That's why I want to share some of the arguments that changed my mind. So first, let's address a common misconception, that when women wear the talit, I understand it's like an alarm, someone is falling asleep and needs to wake up. Okay, great. So first misconception is that when women are doing that, we're not trying to imitate men. Women wearing the talit in our conservative community, it's not about imitating anyone. It's about honoring an obligation, and it's about recognizing and fulfilling a duty that's deeply embedded in our covenant with God. The tradition exempting women from wearing talit was born from a very specific societal context where women's primary domain was seen as home and family. It was believed that the commandments required a specific schedule, such as praying or putting on the talit, would interfere with the housekeeping duty of a woman. So to put it simply, like you're busy cooking and cleaning and doing groceries and raising children, so you have no time to fulfill this mitzvot. Just to make it easier, women were exempt. But as society evolved, so too did the roles and responsibilities of women. In our modern society, we have witnessed the incredible strengths and capabilities of women. Women have shattered glass ceilings, balanced full-time careers with raising families, and became leaders in countless fields. If women can navigate such complexities, the concept of time-bound mitzvot is not applicable anymore. This is a crucial change, and I want you to really hear what I'm saying. Wearing or not wearing tzitzit for women, that's not a choice anymore, it's an obligation. Meaning that if you can have a career and raise children and do all of those things, there is no reason to think that you cannot pray or you cannot observe the time-bound mitzvot. Because if you can work, so clearly you can do that too. And I'm saying that because so often when I ask women of our synagogue, what's stopping you from wearing talit? I hear a response, I'm not ready to accept this mitzvah upon myself. That's an answer. I understand that answer, but I kind of hate to break this news for you, that ship had sailed. Since the adoption of the egalitarian halakha in our shul, this is not a question of choice anymore. That's not a question that, I will accept it on myself and that I will wear it. No, you're obligated to wear it. And I spoke with Rabbi Grover on that matter, and I got his approval for me to say this to you and remind it to you, because actually you all know that, because this is the ruling of our synagogue. While we certainly don't punish anyone for not wearing it, the expectation stands clear. All should be enveloped in this sacred tradition. The importance of the talit, it really extends beyond being a mere garment. It's a statement, a commitment to our Jewish identity, which is based on the Torah, and Torah is the law. When one of us embraces the mitzvah of the talit, it paves the way for others, encouraging them to delve deeper into their faith and take on more mitzvot. In this manner, our individual choice ripple through our community, creative waves of positive influence. But there is more. Our young women are watching. The choices we make today, the traditions we uphold, and those we adapt are lessons for the next generation. When our daughters and granddaughters see their role models, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, proudly wearing talit, they understand their invaluable place in Judaism. They learn that they aren't just passive observers, they are active participants, torchbearers of our tradition. Of course, finding your own reasoning on how to transition into fulfilling the mitzvah of wearing talit is crucial, but it's equally important to remember that it's more than just a personal choice. We are not just individuals donning a garment. We are a community fostering legacy, its communal commitment, guiding our community's presence and sculpting its future. I want to speak now to those women who have already welcomed this mitzvah. What I ask for you is to share your journey, to be pillars of support and understanding for those still finding their way. Let others draw strengths from your journey. Be proactive, discuss the significance of the talit with your families, and share in the joy and spiritual depths of this practice. To our men, don't think that it doesn't concern you. Your role is also invaluable. Supporting the transition, lending your encouragement, and sharing your own experience can play a monumental part in making this practice universal. You can help women in your life feeling equally entitled and inspired to partake in these rituals. To those contemplating still, know that this is more than just about personal choice. In our conservative community where tradition meets contemporary life, the role of the talit as a distinguishing feature is even more crucial. Every time a member of our community dons the talit, they're proudly declaring their identity as Jews. And this declaration, this proud affirmation, should be the right and responsibility of every member of our community. So, in conclusion, let me share just one last piece of my personal experience. Though it was challenging for me to transition into the practice of wearing talit at first, now I can't even imagine attending services without it. I have two of them, one for daily services and one for Shabbat. Most of you see me wearing this, but daily I wear another one, the blue one, which is smaller. And they both are very personal items for me. They were both gifts, and the first one I got in Moscow when I was getting my first official Jewish educator degree, and this one is I got from JTS upon my ordination as a rabbi. And I have a lot of feelings attached to them. My daily talit, when I see the wear and tear on it, it reminds me of the path that I took, about everything I have been through, and it gives me pride that I wear it so often that time has left its mark on it. When I touch it, I can remember the prayers that I prayed, the hopes that I had, the happy moments, the success, and the joy of the day when I was gifted this talit. So, again, maybe to men of our community, if you're looking for a good, Rosh Hashanah gift for your loved ones, ladies, that's an, idea to you. But we also have, their talitot, free ones that you can wear during the services if you want to try them on and to see how it feels. Whether you're wearing talit for the first time or thousands, may it wrap you in warmth, connection, and the shared spirit of our people. Through this practice, we bind ourselves to a tradition that is alive, dynamic, and resonant. Let us continue to nurture this bond, inspiring and empowering every woman in our midst, today and always. Shabbat Shalom.